A lot of smartphones have a lot of really good cameras in them. This is an iPhone 6 Plus and the camera in it is incredible for video. And it's a shame to let that go to waste. There's a few things that will just make your video look a lot better if it's coming from one of these. So let's start with the simplest and most basic tip. You need to hold your phone properly. Now most people know that holding it horizontally is the best way to get good video. The best way to hold your smartphone when you're taking video is like this or like this. It really depends on what works best for you. But if you hold it with two hands and get a grip on each corner, making sure not to pull it too much, otherwise it might shake under the tension, you can get more stable results than, for example, if you held it with one hand up like that, or with one hand from the side like the traditional vlogger way of holding a camera. Also, don't cover the microphones. You might want to make yourself aware of where they are. On an iPhone, there's one normally up by the camera and then one down at the bottom where the speakerphone is. That goes the same for most phones, but they might have even more microphones than this. So frame rate and quality options are really important when you're making a video. If you go into the settings of your phone, it might be in the main camera app, but on an iPhone it's in the settings. A lot of cameras offer 24 frames per second, which looks quite cinematic, but for the most part 24 frames per second is outdated. If you want really smooth looking videos, select 60 frames per second, or if you're not fast, just stay with 30. A lot of new phones like this one offer 240 and 120 frames per second slow motion, which are quite handy when you're trying to capture something fast. Also, it looks crazy when you like put it on 120 frames and move it around because the refresh rate is so much faster. It's really weird. What you got to keep in mind is that when you put up your frame rate, you're going to reduce your shutter speed, and that means you let less light into the camera, which means you're going to need to increase your ISO. When you increase your ISO, your video tends to look noisier, so that's something you're going to have to pay attention to. So there's all sorts of apps you can download to make really good video. Filmic Pro is a really good example because it allows you all the manual settings you could possibly imagine, and there are equivalent apps for Android. On the other side of things, if you're trying to make stuff to upload straight to YouTube, you can use the YouTube Capture app. It allows you to record and send straight to YouTube, which is really handy. It also prompts you to turn your phone horizontally, which is probably for the best. So you might want to buy some accessories that make your iPhone videography a little bit better. You can get little tripod mounts for like a $5. Maybe you want to put it on a Gorilla Pod or something. Equally, you can buy a case that allows you to get some better shots. So this is a ballistics case, which is nice because it's very grippy. So a little while ago I was filming something on a power boat, and all I had was my iPhone, and this kind of saved the day. Equally, you could buy a life-proof case. These are waterproof and they're really handy. This is the one I had for my S3. Similar to the interesting results you can get with a GoPro, you can put this thing underwater and it's way easier to share your video than with a GoPro. Speaking of GoPros, you can actually get the GoPro app on your phone. It allows you to preview the video that you're making on your GoPro and tune all the settings and do all the faffy stuff that's stuck inside menus. You might also want to buy an Oidh clip, which I don't personally own, but I hear a lot of interesting things about. It's essentially a lens that you clip onto the camera of your iPhone, and it allows you to get some really interesting results. Of course, there's all sorts of other lenses that you can attach to your smartphone, and it's hard to go wrong because they're all quite inexpensive and they're all really handy. The last thing I can say is that you need to experiment. You need to try different shots, you need to fiddle around with the settings of your camera, you need to find something that works best for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and in a bit guys, bye.